If you're looking for a place that's only a couple hours from Canada or the States, has really nice beaches, good weather, good food, and great people, then I might have the place for you. Today we're going to be talking about the Senator Puerto Plata Resort. We're going to be going through what exactly the resort has on offer, my experience there during my 6-day stay, as well as whether it's worth it for the money. When you arrive at the hotel, you'll be greeted by the newly renovated lobby. Made in 1996, the hotel was actually recently renovated in 2018, and you can see this reflected all around the hotel, with new modern fixtures as well as just public spaces that are extremely nice to just sit in and relax at. The Senator Hotel has 567 rooms, and while this might seem like a lot of rooms, it actually never felt like that when we were there. The hotel is broken into about 15 separate villa-style buildings, each of which that are 2 stories tall and have about 20 to 30 rooms within them. And I actually really enjoyed this part of the vacation. It felt like we were in a small village, and we got the chance to walk outside as we went from place to place. The room itself was a pretty standard room and what you'd expect of any type of hotel or resort. I stayed in the Senator Junior Suite, which is about 312 square feet and came with a king-size bed. I believe all of the room options at the resort are about the same size in terms of square footage, with the Ocean View Junior Suite being about 40 square feet more. Our room came with what you'd expect from any type of resort or hotel room. We had the king-size bed, storage, as well as about a 50-inch TV and a balcony with chairs and a place to dry our clothes, which was actually really useful as we swam every day. The room also came with a fully stocked mini bar with carbonated drinks as well as water. Also came with a safe, which was quite useful during our stay for storing our passports. Now, the one thing that I really didn't like about this hotel was the fact that nobody really explained all of the amenities and what was at offer at the hotel. When we got there, the person just gave us a little booklet, which didn't even have the buffet times on it, didn't tell us which places we could book a la cartes at, and didn't tell us the amenities of the hotel, which I think, given what the hotel had on offer, was actually a loss to them because it prevented us from fully knowing what we could access and what we could do there. So I'm going to run through all of the food options that are there at the Senator Puerto Plata, and also some secret ones that nobody really tells you about when you're there. So, starting with the buffet, and this is the only buffet that exists at the resort. That said, it comes with plenty of food options, from fish to meats, as well as vegetarian options in Dominican and international cuisines. This actually had something for everybody. One thing I did notice throughout my stay was that the food options didn't really change much as the buffet. Occasionally, some things would be swapped out and changed with others, but what you get on your first day is pretty much what you expect to get throughout your stay. That said, this wasn't really a huge issue because we were able to spend a lot of our stay at the a la carte restaurants, and so I didn't really have any complaints in terms of the food at the buffet. Now let's take a look at the 3 a la carte restaurants that are at offer at the resort. The Embers Steakhouse, La Grappa, which is the Italian place, as well as Zao, which is the sushi and teppanyaki place. Now, the one thing to note is that you actually need to book these a la carte restaurants when you get to the resort. Bookings can fill up really quickly, and so it's important that you do this as soon as you get there. Usually, you're able to start booking at like 9 a.m. at the customer information desk, and you can book for your entire stay all at one time. Now, when we were there, the 6-day stay covered 2 bookings. I believe that if you stay for 7 days, you're able to get 3 bookings. One interesting thing we noted was that if you have a friend who's staying at a different room, they can actually book for both of you guys, and then you can also book for both of you guys, and then that allows you to access more reservations than just the 2. One interesting thing to note about the Zao restaurant, though, is that while one side of the restaurant is the hibachi, the other side of the restaurant is a la carte sushi. And this a la carte sushi doesn't actually need to be booked at the front desk. Instead, you can walk in and be seated at the place. Now, to be honest, it wasn't the best sushi I've ever had in my life and nowhere near it, but it was an enjoyable dinner experience, and the dessert especially was absolutely amazing. Now, in addition to these 3 a la carte restaurants and the buffet, there's a couple other places where you can get food during your stay at the Senator Puerto Plata. The Ocean Beach Club is listed as a bar. However, there exists food options that are available there, from club sandwiches to fish and rice, as well as other food options. And so you can very easily have lunch at this place as well. In addition to that, the sports bar, which as a bar does serve drinks, also has a lot of food options that are quite appetizing as well, from burgers to fries to loaded nachos, as well as various dessert options. You can absolutely make a meal out of the sports bar as well. From my experience, the sports bar was one of the better food options at the resort, and I actually enjoyed it similarly to the buffet, if not thinking that it was better than the buffet. In addition to the sports bar, you have a couple other bars that you can go to as well. The pool bar offers pool drinks right at the pool, and you can actually be served from inside the pool. You can also be served drinks at the Ocean Beach Club that I had previously mentioned. In addition to those 3, there's also the rum and cigar bar, which is actually a paid option, so we didn't try that place out. The resort also features a lot of health and wellness options. There were people offering massage services from the resort, as well as there seems to be an entire spa center that you can have access to. I didn't actually try out any of these health and wellness options as they were there for surcharge, but they are there if that's something that you're interested in. I think recreation and entertainment is actually one of the places where the resort experience falls short. Now, that's not to say that this is a deal breaker, because if you're there just to sit by the water, enjoy your time, relax, and do nothing, like I was, this is absolutely fine. But if you'd like to go crazy and do a bunch of stuff at the resort, then the options are a little bit lacking. There's tennis courts at the next door sister resort, the Playa Bachata, which you have access to as a Senator patron. There's also beachfront volleyball, and you could pay to do motorized water sports on site. There's daily activities as well as nighttime shows that happen every day. And there's a schedule board at the resort which tells you what to expect and what there is. That said, it didn't seem that creative in what they had to offer, and so some of the entertainment options felt bland at times. As patrons of the Senator Puerto Plata Resort, we're allowed to actually access the next door Playa Bachata Resort, and they have night shows every day in a covered theater, and so that actually does expand a lot of the options that we get in terms of entertainment. Now, one of the highlights of the resort for me was actually a small road that they've made at the corner of the resort that features a bunch of shops as well as entertainment options throughout the night. In this little alleyway, you're gonna find an ice cream place and a pizza place, as well as a coffee shop, which are all included in the all-inclusive. In addition to that, you'll find a couple other shops where you're able to spend money to buy products like sunscreen, souvenirs, as well as clothes. And this is really useful in case you forgot anything when packing for the vacation. Lastly, you'll also find a nightclub, which goes until 3 a.m. So if a party is your vibe, that's also something that's there. If you'd like to spice up your vacation by leaving the resort has connections with Nexus Tours, which helps offer a bunch of excursions from the resort, including a trip on a boat to a sand dune in the middle of the ocean, sliding down waterfalls, seeing monkeys, seeing the mangroves, ATVing through the Dominican rural countryside, as well as many other options. So one thing to note is that these are all not included with your stay at the resort and ranged in price from about 60 USD to 200 USD. So be ready to spend a little bit of money if you want to leave the resort on these excursions. The beach at the resort was quite nice, but it isn't the aqua type beach that you see in places like Cabo or Cancun. And I think that's one of the things that you need to know going into it. There's also a really nice lookout point at the resort that you can walk up to, and it allows you to see the entire coastline as well as the cruise ships that come in every single day. Walking down the path from the lookout point, you'll actually find a hidden beach that not many people know about. Now, one thing to note is that this beach is not part of the resort. And as such, people from outside the resort are allowed to be here, and you'll find that there may be people trying to sell you things on the beach as you try and sit there and relax. Right next to it, there exists a series of restaurants as well as gift shops where you can also check out what they have on offer. I tried out one of the restaurants that were there, and I've got to say, this has to be one of the best foods that I've ever tried. The paella and the fried red snapper were just absolutely amazing. And now that I'm back home, I'm trying to find a restaurant that can offer the same paella that I had back in Dominican Republic. So it's definitely a highlight in terms of what I think could be improved. As somebody who has a food restriction, oftentimes it was quite difficult for me to understand what exactly was in each of the foods that I was looking to eat. And trying to clarify this with the waiters or the staff, sometimes language barriers actually prevented me from very clearly understanding what it was that was in the food. Additionally, I would have loved to see a little bit more entertainment options. More shows would have been nice. So, in terms of my overall thoughts about the Senator Puerto Plata, I think it really depends on what you're trying to get out of a vacation. If you're somebody who really wants to party and go crazy for a couple of days, then the Senator Resort is probably not for you. If you're somebody who just wants to relax by the beach, relax by the pool, have your food taken care of for you, have these great a la carte experiences, and don't really care too much about partying, then this is probably going to be a great experience for you. Overall, for me, I went into this vacation as a burnt out student who was trying to spend a couple days away from it all and just relax, unplug, and unwind. And I think that this vacation really gave me what I was looking for. Was it absolutely perfect? No. And I think that any resort experience that you're going to have will have its positives and its negatives. But overall, I will say the resort experience was absolutely great for me, and I'd probably visit again.